A-D-N.
It's HeadphonesNeil!
What's up, guys, and welcome back to HeadphonesNeil Reviews. I'm your host, as always, HeadphonesNeil, bringing you my set of reviews and stuff for this week. So, I have a couple of media stuff to review, so it's the usual TV show, a special movie review, and then the updates for the video game play. So, to start it off for this week, I'm continuing to watch Battlestar Galactica, the 1978 version, and it's pretty much just what I've been thinking for a while, that it's kind of Miami Vice meets Star Trek as far as the visuals, the acting, the presentation of it, and all of that. The acting is kind of very much of its time. Every so often, some of the actors will have something really, or do something really good and portray things in a very dramatic way, tense way. Notably with Adama, like, for the most part, he's kind of just like an old fatherly figure. But every so often he'll have some acting that reminds me very much of Adama from the new series as far as Edward James Olmos goes. But for the most part, it's a very light, like they try to portray, drama and tension and stress and all that, but it's very lighthearted still. Like, it's very weird. Like, you can tell what they're trying to do, but then they're trying to also keep it to a show that they want to put on network television. So it's one of those things where it's okay but not that great, and it's still along the lines of I'm glad they remade it. So I'm continuing to rewatch it to see how it ends, but overall it's an okay show and I'm glad they remade it. Otherwise, for this week, I had a chance to rewatch Tombstone, because if you haven't heard already, then you may have, or I guess the news is that Val Kilmer passed away this week. So as far as favorite films of his goes, Tombstone is probably my favorite. It's followed closely by Top Gun, but if you ask me which one I would prefer to rewatch, I would always go with Tombstone. So the film's acting for the most part is really, really well done by everybody. There's a lot of actors you wouldn't expect in there, or that I didn't realize are in there, that are in there, so definitely check out the cast list. But Wyatt Earp's portrayal is really good. Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday is really good. That, like, it's throughout the film, as far as his interactions with Wyatt, with his girlfriend, the gambling scenes, and all of that, just overall very well done. The bad guy, the Cowboys, Ringo, all of them, just overall it meshes together very, very well. So if you've never seen Tombstone, I recommend watching it. They very tightly portray it, but then everything is at a normal speed, so you don't feel rushed through all of it. So I definitely recommend watching the film. So that's all I really have for that. It's a good film, and I definitely recommend watching it. As far as my gameplay update, I have finished playing Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and overall I had a lot of fun, as always, playing it in the usual order with the usual mods of Jedi from the start, easy Pazak, easy swoop racing. I didn't go too crazy with the order of the planet, so just the usual. So you have to do Terrace first, and then go to Dantooine, and then just Tatooine, Kashyyyk, and all the rest. I did play the dark side this time, so I could take advantage of some of the extra missions, like the Geno Hariden, picking as many dark side choices as I can. But over the course of the game, if you don't really need much of the equipment of the Geno Hariden, then it's easy to skip those quests. Although if you start on Manon early enough and you're able to get that quest to begin with before you get to Manon, then if you do that early enough, then you can play the rest of the game and offset the dark side points with the light side points if you do it right. So there's that. I had a chance to finish all of the story quests as well. So there was that. Oh, and the story quests are totally optional. I don't mind them. On one hand, I don't mind them. On the other hand, they're also pretty fun to play, as far as, Karth discovering his son survived the attack on I forgot the thing from the second game, but his son survived. You can deal with, the only story I didn't do was actually Juhani, but if you keep her alive and part of your team, you can have her come to terms with her enslavement and being rescued from the slavers. Karth and her brother is probably my favorite story side quest. Bastila and her mother is okay. There's not much there, but it's relatively easy. But I think they saved a lot of that story for her, or didn't do a lot of story for her because she has a bigger part in the rest of the game. And the only one that I really don't usually include is the Zalbar side quest, mostly because you have to go to Kashyyyk and you have to deal with his brother and his father. So it's probably one of the most integrated side quests, but it's also a requirement to proceed with the game to begin with, to get into the lower Shadowlands, to find the star map and get Jolie Bindo. Candra's side quest is okay. It's kind of along the lines of Bastila, that he's dealing with his past. So kind of proceeding from there. But overall, a lot of it doesn't really impact much of the game. By the time you're light side or dark side enough, it's really your own character's alignment that affects the ending of the game, whether Karth is going to have everybody leave your side because you're on the dark side, or stay with you because you're on the light side. So there is that. But that, and of all the hate that the second game gets, that is one of the things I liked that they did in the second game, or at least in theory, that they made it so that whatever your character does, you get alignment points and support of your crew based on your alignment, so you can impact how they interact with you, and then ultimately turn them into Jedi, or give them force powers ultimately. The implementation of it in the second game is not that great, so that's kind of one of those things that's incomplete. It's a pain in the butt to get done, but much like the first game, you can use a mod called, I think it's Everyone as a Jedi, or Everyone is a Jedi, for Knights of the Old Republic 2, which makes everyone a Jedi straight right from the start, and you don't even have to do all their side affiliation points and get their positive influence in order to convert them to a Jedi. You get them right off the bat for everybody, like Beodur, Atten, and actually I think that's really about it. I think maybe one other person, because I think Visas Mar starts set as a Jedi. So regardless, you get more Jedi characters from the start. You can level them up that much more because you're treating them kind of like you do with your character in the first game. You get to increase their force points from the beginning and give them all those abilities. Even though they don't get as much abilities as your main character, you do get to level them up that much. So that's one of those redeeming qualities. And I mean, even so, and for KOTOR 2, the main thing for that is playing it with the restored content mod is probably the best way to play the game, just so you get the HK factory mission side quest, and it fixes a lot of the bugs and issues with the games and things like that. So between that and the Everyone is a Jedi mod, it makes KOTOR that a little bit more of a fun game. But they kind of take it out there as far as the Darth Nihilus who eats planets, and then Darth Sion is okay because he kind of is a true Sith Lord, that he's embracing it fully, but it's kind of an out there game as far as on the fringes of story and stuff. For me, it would have been nice, and it would have been okay if there was that game, but then if they had made the third to rescue Revan and bring him back to the Republic, or if they had just made it so that you do everything in KOTOR 2, and by the time you visit that final planet, the whatever starts with an M, or Malachor 5, you actually use Malachor 5 as make Malachor 5 kind of the Yavin station, and use it as a way station into the Empire, and make the final boss fight, against the Sith Emperor, or some major, make it like the combination, make it, even if it's fighting against Kreia, you fight against her on a random planet beyond Malachor 5 to rescue Revan and bring him back. and that would have made everything else in the game that much better. So by rushing it out, it didn't really help the game that much. But that's neither here nor there. The full gameplay update is up now for my KOTOR 1 gameplay, so the link will be in the show notes as always, and in the episode guides of the videos, there is a link to all the screenshots, so if you guys like them, you can check them out and see why, as far as the visuals go, why I like the game so much. But on that note, that's really the bulk of it, everything for this particular week's reviews. So on the upside, I will be starting my gameplay of GTA San Andreas all over again. I was able to save up some credit, or enough credits to buy the definitive edition. I think I might have mentioned when I did my initial incomplete review for the regular version of the game that if I get enough credits that I would play the game of the definitive edition. Might as well play the better version of the game if I can, if I have to start from the beginning to begin with. So with that being said, I'm going to start playing the definitive edition. I'll have the playlist up and start doing the usual post of the gameplay and the previews, so look out for that starting soon. But overall, it does look like an interesting game. As far as the definitive edition goes, I guess they fixed some stuff, made the visuals better and that sort of stuff, so we'll see how it goes and how far into it I can go, and hopefully this time around I am able to finish it. But that is all for this particular episode and set of reviews, so thanks for tuning in, supporting the show, all that good stuff. The website is HeadphonesNeil.reviews, where everything is linked, along with past episodes and all that good stuff. The YouTube channel is youtube.com/PatelN01. But thanks for tuning into this particular episode, and until next time.